Hello, good afternoon. My name is Abdiel Robles. My U number is 5088-7981. Um, the email that I will be using after graduating is abdielrobles13@gmail.com. My major is accountancy and analytics. So today I will be showing my Tableau project one. If we head over here to the file, first we start off on the first sheet, which is sales by product region. In this sheet, we can see the sales in each region that has seen sales here in Central, the East region, this Eastern region, Southern region, and the Western region. If we look at the top, we can see the years in which the sales took place from 2020 to 2023. Each year is divided by categories. We have furniture, office supplies, and technology. Um, Here we can see, if we look over here, we can see this this gradient, which demonstrates which areas has seen positive and negative profits. So if we look here, let's take the South, for example. If we look at technology in 2020, we can see that sales are high for machines. However, there is a negative profit. If we look further down in 2023, if we look at the furniture, we can see that there was sales of $14,108. However, there's a negative profit of $3,598. And we can see this throughout the entirety of this sheet. If we move on to sales in the South, we can see a more in-depth sales. However, just looking at the Southern region, again, here, if we look at 2020, we can see that machines have upward sales of $27,594. However, there is a negative profit. Again, we can look here in 2023, same thing from the last sheet. And if we look at phones here in the technology category in 2023, we can see that there is a sales of $21,363 and a positive profit of $3,232. Moving on to the profit map, here we have a visualization of the entirety of the region, and here we can see which states have seen the highest amount of profits and which states have seen negative profits. States like Georgia, Virginia, and Kentucky, we can see that these states have the highest profits. Here in South Carolina, states like South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana, we can see that sales aren't as high as the top three states. However, they are not seeing negative profits such as Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee. If we look at this year area right here, we can manipulate which years we would want to look at. So if we click all and then start clicking each year, we can see which year which states have seen the highest amount of profits and which have seen negative profits. So in 2020, we can see that Florida and North Carolina have seen negative profits, while states like Virginia and Kentucky have seen the highest amount of profits in 2020. If we continue on, we can see which states, again, have seen negative and positive profits here in 2022. These aren't as bad as the previous years. If we look at 2023, wow, we can see how North Carolina and Tennessee have plummeted in sales. Moving on to the negative profit chart. Here we can see which cities in certain states have seen the most amount of negative profits. So if we go over here to Jacksonville, Florida, we can see how machines again have seen negative profits, tables as well. Over here, if we move to Burlington, North Carolina, we can see how machines have seen a negative profit. Binders, tables, and going back to the profit map, we can see how southern city these cities are in southern states, and we can see why or where, more specifically, which cities in those states have seen the negative profits. That's why and when we look at the profit map, we can see which states have seen negative profits. Look here at Knoxville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee. Tables have seen negative profit. Memphis, binders. These are, we can manipulate the years here. 2020, 2021, and 2023. Moving on to the regional sales and profit sheet. Here again, we can see by moving through the years which states have seen the highest amount of profit and the negative profit. If we move down here, we have another a bar graph demonstrating what we seen earlier, what we have seen earlier. And then moving on to sales and profit in North Carolina. These first four notches here, if we click on each one, or if we go through each one, we can see through the years the negative profits that North Carolina has seen. Starting from 2020, we can see how North Carolina has had a negative profit, $1,413. Here we can see in more in-depth visualization of which products in which category have had the negative profit. Again, machines, as we've seen previously, moving through 2021, again, 2022, and 2023. Here it says the largest loss of the 4 years over the past 4 years since 2020. Here, if we move on to this one, underperforming items in the South. Again, it's been mostly machines. Here we see machine loss in 2023. Machines in Burlington lost nearly $4,000. Burlington. And if we go further up, we can see the sales and profit by year. Here we see the machines each year and their sales and profits. 2020, we can see the highest amount of negative profit. We can see that in 2022, profit increased. However, in the next year, we can see how profits again have reached a negative level. And this is my Tableau 1 project. My name is Abdiel Robles, and thank you.